Political unrest in Myanmar is driving up food and fuel prices. The United Nations has raised concerns that the turmoil could push the most vulnerable further into poverty. It's reported that the cost of palm oil has shot up 20% around Yangon. In some parts of Kachin State, the price of rice, a food staple, has soared by as much as 35%. Cooking oil and grains are significantly more expensive in Kachin State. The cost of fuel has risen by 15% across the country. The World Food Programme says that the signs are troubling. It's warning that if this trend continues, it will severely undermine the ability of the country's poorest to feed their families. The increase in price is compounded by Myanmar's paralysed banking sector and limits on cash. On the streets, chaos continues as protesters turn out in droves. Security forces have repeatedly used tear gas, rubber bullets and live rounds in daily crackdowns. More than 180 people have been killed since the start of the coup in February. Now, at the same time, reports say that China has asked its state-run firms to evacuate all non-essential staff from Myanmar after several Chinese-run factories came under attack. Manufacturing plants in Yangon's industrial area were set ablaze over the weekend, trapping Chinese citizens. Young Waikit has been following the latest developments and he joins us live now for more on this. Waikit, the military claims that the ongoing protests are being funded by foreign entities. Where is this allegation coming from?
Well, Dawn, I'll get to that in just a while. If you allow me to just very quickly go off topic because I'm getting news just out of Myanmar. The Myanmar army is now charging one of the ousted lawmakers with high treason. This is Dr. Sasa, and he is the ousted lawmaker's representative to the United Nations. In Myanmar law, anyone who commits high treason faces the death penalty. So this is news just in. Back to your question, Dawn. The Myanmar army has this theory that there are external factors at play that, are present in these protests. It says that there are instigators as well as people who fund protesters such that they turn the demonstrations violent. The Myanmar Army's latest attention is on this global charity foundation called the Open Society Foundation Myanmar. It says that it has asked banks to freeze foreign funds going into the foundation's bank account in Myanmar, saying that the money could find its way into the civil disobedience movement. Now, I have reached out to the foundation for a response to hear its side of the story. The foundation says it is now working on it's working on an answer to all my queries. Now, if you recall, some time ago, the Myanmar Army had also targeted a local NGO. This NGO is called Free Funeral Association, and they said that this association has been providing protesters with money, including money from organizations and Myanmar citizens living in Malaysia and South Korea. Now, if you take a step back and digest all these, it really fits into the Myanmar Army's theory that there are external factors at play, because if you recall, it has insisted that two of the young protesters who had been shot in the head, the army says that the bullets are not used by the Myanmar police force, and that it is and it suggested that the bullets could have been fired from an external force.
Well, Waikit, we are getting reports that hundreds of people are fleeing while this crackdown continues. Is leaving the country the only answer for people in Myanmar?
Well, this is at least one of the ways that people are seeming to, cope with this developing situation. Hundreds of thousands of people are fleeing their homes in the Langtaya township, which is now under military rule, under direct martial law. The army has very plainly spelled out the penalties that, could be meted out to people who flout the law. It could be a lifetime in jail with hard labor, or it could be death sentence, depending on the penalties that you flout. But there are also people who have to go there to work or stay there, and I've been told that it's getting more and more difficult to access those areas. There are many roadblocks, and I'm also told that people are now starting to be more suspicious of one another.
Waikit, thank you very much for that update, and thank you for staying on top of this story for us. Young Waikit there reporting.